The first thing Sarah Mitchell noticed when she entered the music room was the silence. It wasn't the usual quiet before a lesson, it was the kind of hush that felt heavy, as if the room itself were holding its breath. Then, a single note from the piano broke through, trembling and raw. She turned to see Emily, her 12-year-old autistic student, seated at the instrument. Her hands hovered over the keys, her head bowed low. The room seemed to pulse with the energy of her music. Sarah's gaze shifted to the back of the room, where a few students whispered behind their hands, smirking. The tension in the air was palpable. "Good morning, everyone," Sarah greeted, forcing warmth into her voice. But her mind was elsewhere. Something was about to change, and she wasn't sure if it would be for better or worse. Emily was an enigma. While her classmates spent breaks chatting or playing outside, she retreated to the piano, losing herself in the intricate world of melodies. Her gift for music was extraordinary. She could play Mozart, Beethoven, and Chopin by ear. Yet, this very talent, paired with her quiet demeanor and repetitive movements, made her a target for teasing. Sarah had noticed the subtle mockery, a snicker here, a whisper there. Jake, Madison, and Olivia, members of the prestigious Harmony Kids ensemble, were often at the center of it. When Sarah caught Jake imitating the way Emily moved her hands while playing, her patience snapped. "Jake?" she said sharply, her voice cutting through the chatter. "A musician's hands tell a story. Mocking them is like mocking the music itself." Jake turned red but muttered, "We were just joking." But Sarah knew better. That evening, Sarah lingered at her desk long after school ended, pondering how to bridge the growing divide in her classroom. The answer came unexpectedly. A hauntingly beautiful melody floated through the halls. Following the sound, she found Emily at the piano, tears streaming down her face as she played Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. "Emily," Sarah said softly, sitting beside her, "you're amazing. Don't let anyone make you feel less than that." Emily hesitated before whispering, "They make fun of me. I hear them, and I can't make it stop." The next day, Sarah approached the assistant principal, Mr. Bat Thompson, Jake's father, to discuss the bullying. But her concerns were brushed aside. "Jake? He'd never bully anyone," Mr. Thompson said, adjusting his tie. "Emily just seems sensitive." Refusing to let the matter rest, Sarah decided to act on her own. She launched a class project called The Language of Music, pairing students to compose pieces that expressed emotions they found hard to articulate. Emily was paired with Jake. At first, Jake was reluctant, but as he worked with Emily, he began to notice the way her fingers danced over the keys, translating feelings into sound. Slowly, he realized her music spoke of loneliness and resilience, emotions he hadn't expected to understand. The turning point came at the year-end concert. Sarah insisted Emily perform a solo, despite her initial protests. When Emily walked onto the stage, the auditorium held its breath. She began to play Mozart's Rondo alla Turca, her hands flying across the keys with breathtaking precision. But it wasn't just her technical skill that captivated the audience. It was the emotion she poured into the performance. By the time she finished, the room erupted in applause. Jake, seated in the front row, stood first, clapping until his hands hurt. The next day, Jake and his friends approached Emily. "I'm sorry," Jake said, his voice trembling. "Your music, it's incredible." Emily's shy smile was the only response he needed. Over the following weeks, Emily and Jake grew close. She taught him piano techniques during lunch breaks, and he encouraged her to compose new pieces. The Harmony Kids even invited Emily to arrange their songs. Mr. Thompson, witnessing the change in his son, approved funding for a music program celebrating neurodiversity. The initiative became a school-wide success, bringing students together in unexpected ways. At the final assembly, Emily performed with the Harmony Kids. As their music filled the auditorium, Sarah felt a lump rise in her throat. She had always believed in the transformative power of music, but seeing it unfold before her eyes was something else entirely. "Music speaks what cannot be expressed," she had once told her students. Now, watching Emily glow with confidence at the piano, Sarah knew this truth had finally taken root in every heart in the room.